Hello and welcome to another Matura Express English stream. My name is Chris and today we're going to talk about health and nutrition. Welcome back to this Wednesday English stream. As I've already said in the introduction, today's topic is all about health and nutrition. So, as always, we're going to start with an overview of the topic, which is the overview of today's stream, of course, which is important to know because on the first point here, I'm going to give you an overview of the topic health and nutrition, which is, of course, the topic that you might have to be talking about in your A-levels. So I'm gonna explain to you what you should know and what is expected from you that you should know. So yeah, that's the first point. The second point is eating disorders and health problems. Then we're gonna focus on the basics of a healthy diet, recent trends, and a demonstration exam about health and nutrition. Okay, so the topic itself is basically or requires that you know about a healthy or a balanced diet. So you might also have a look at the food pyramid. There were some adjustments over the years. There have been adjustments concerning the food pyramid and what is good and what is bad for your body, but that's of course always something that is subjective since everyone is different and everybody needs different nutrition and yeah. Then you, of course, should know about recent trends such as vegetarianism or veganism, which are both not as recent, but according to the book, they're recent. So let's accept them as being recent. Or modern trends or directions maybe in which we will follow or more people will follow in the future. So think about that. And also form your opinion or try to form your opinion on the topics. It is always important to have a stance somewhat for a topic. So if you're maybe pro-veganism, then you should also be able to explain why and why you think it might be our future way of eating. And if you're a supporter of eating meat, then you should also be able to explain it, especially to your examiner. Another important aspect for your A-levels exam concerning this topic, of course, is obesity and other eating disorders and potential health problems that come with such disorders. So there are a few eating disorders out there, but you should focus, I think, on the most obvious ones and should be able to explain or to differentiate them basically. So you have anorexia nervosa, which can be explained, or these are symptoms basically being considerably underweight compared with people of similar age and height, or very restricted eating patterns, an intense fear of gaining weight, or persistent behaviors to avoid gaining weight despite being underweight. So there's a constant fear that you somehow will get fat. That's what this disorder or yeah, it's yeah, it can be labeled as a disorder. This disorder is all about, basically. So bulimia nervosa is something different. That's basically if you start eating and then eating a lot. So binge eating, it's also called binge eating. There's also the expression binge drinking. But in this case, it's binge eating. But after you've eaten several amounts or several plates or I don't know, of something, you feel guilty or you don't think that you should, your body should process that, and therefore you start to forcefully I'm sorry. Forcefully try to make your body puke. So you've heard of it, I think, and that's also some sort of a disorder. Not very pleasant, I think, if you have something like this. Binge eating disorder. So the binge eating is actually it also comes with the bulimia nervosa, but in this case you're just eating, and that's binge eating, and you're eating a lot so that you gain a lot of weight, which means you probably at some point will be a bit fatter, I'd say. Not a fatter, you gain weight and will be fat. So yes. Overweight. Let's not call it fat. That's basics of a healthy diet. So there is something that is called malnutrition versus overnutrition. You might think about it because malnutrition is Unterernährung versus overnutrition is, of course, if it's directly translated, it's Überernährung. And this also leads to the conclusion or thinking that there are several countries in this world that have a lot of people that face malnutrition, especially children. So you might also think about that and focus on it or research on it. So the food pyramid, I think you all know it. Okay, it doesn't work, but I think you know the food pyramid, and just if you don't, use the internet. What also helps you for a healthy diet is to be able to read the nutrition facts. That's always the table on the back of, normally on the back of a product, which says how much calories, how much carbohydrates, how much fat, how much of this fat is saturated and unsaturated, salt, sugar, all the stuff, proteins. You get all the information concerning the macronutrients. You might also want to consider to cut out on soft drinks, so not every day maybe, but just once in a month or once in a week, and then just think about what is a healthy healthy way to use soft drinks or drink soft drinks. Eat more vegetables, fruits and seeds. They have some very beneficial macronutrients in there. For example, seeds, they normally have a lot of unsaturated fats, so good fat, and proteins. Vegetables obviously have a lot of vitamins, fruits too, so yeah, you know what I'm aiming for. Lean meat. So lean meat is also beef such as meat such as beef, poultry, fish or seafood. So normally they are low in fat, as it says, lean, but also high in protein. So if you want a lot of protein, then you can get it from there. But be careful with these products. Don't buy them at your not at your local supermarket, but look elsewhere where it's not an industrial production of meat. Okay, think about to eat a lot of long-chained carbohydrates. Reduce alcohol and traditional fast food, which normally are loaded with short-chained carbohydrates. Recent trends, vegetarianism, veganism. I've also found the ketogenic diet, or not found, I know of it, and low carb, and what else is out there. You might know it. If you do so, write it in the comments below. I just seen. So recent trends. Okay. Now that you can see it, yeah, it's better now. Recent trends. If you know any recent trends, write it in the comment section below, and we will get back to it as soon as possible. As I've already outlined, vegetarianism, you all know, you just eat vegetables. Veganism, you avoid, of course, meat, but you avoid every product that is produced by an animal. You can these two you can, I think, view from an angle that is economical. So you can think about that, or you might consider that these two trends, I don't want to call them trends, but somehow they are that they are a more CO2 saving way of eating. The ketogenic diet and low carb, they're basically diets that focus, or I think it is difficult to tell what is right or wrong, but they somehow focus on, rather in ketogenic case, high fat or high protein, but always some sort of low carb, to basically to lose fat. Okay, so I think the last two are not like diets that should be used your whole life, but if you want, of course, you can. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Fortunately, I don't have the demonstration exam, but the demonstration exam is, as always, in this case, it's just about health and nutrition, but normally you have your introduction, where you introduce yourself. Then you have the monologue, which is important, which has normally 3 bullet points on it, where you have to talk about it. And then there is task 2, which is the dialogue. That's the actual part where you talk to your examiner, and your examiner also kind of asks you questions, but in a more like indirect dialogue way, so that there is some sort of a conversation going on. And then you also have a follow-up discussion that's normally with the board of examiners. But yes, if you have questions, of course, don't hesitate to ask us, write us in the comments. As always, that's basically it for today. Yeah, if you have questions, write it in the comment section below. And I'd say see you next week and have a nice evening. Goodbye.